All right, Suzanne, another big issue that's come up is parking meters downtown, whether we should or should not have parking meters, and whether parking is a big problem. I guess it's more of a problem the closer you get to sort of the circle area. What do you think?
What I've stated is, and I really feel that smart, grown-up cities have conversations about metered parking. Whether you're talking about, and I could list many cities, but I always list Burlington, Vermont, I list Austin, Texas, Charlotte, North Carolina, St. Petersburg, Florida, different populations, although Burlington, Vermont is closest to Sarasota, that have strategic high turnover areas metered parking. And I think
so not everywhere then.
Right. I think we need to look at that perhaps, and I've also said that until the economy turns around, I would favor delaying on Main Street. Well, it looks like that it may not be delayed that long. I have had a talk with the owner of the sports page, emailed me and said, what are you saying about parking meters? And we've had long conversations, and I met him. I heard his concerns about...
Are the business owners against it?
A lot of the business owners are, but some have said, well, I think we need to talk about it, and I'm back and forth, some of the business owners. Absolutely, I've talked to many of them. A lot are very, very adamant against them, especially now because you're not favoring the employees. They're going to have to go somewhere else. Our parking garages, some of them aren't filled with people. Whole Foods still has room for cars, but a lot of people don't want to travel. They want to park right in front of the restaurant, right in front of the store. The new back-end parking on Gulfstream has apparently been quite popular, but people stay all day long, and Kenny at the sports page said, we need to monitor that. Yes. But when you're monitoring parking, that's one of the hardest things to do. Whereas if you had card kiosks, the onus would be on the person that's parking the car.
Another issue is the noise ordinance that the city has. I've read that Paul Caraggiulio wants to talk about possibly repealing that, feels that the ordinance that in place is maybe too onerous and unnecessary, and I know a lot of the neighborhood associations feel it should stay the way it is. Mm-hmm. What do you think about it?
That's a hard one if I'm sitting at the commission, and I usually don't say that if you were elected commissioner, would you rescind this? And I don't usually go there. I think this is a tough issue because people have been stopped, and it's a matter of weighing what is too much noise, and it's quite punitive. The issue, the biggest issue I have with it is taking away a car. I think that is... the punishment doesn't fit the crime. I would look at that. I'm a believer in let's figure out how we compromise.
You're referring to seizing a car because the stereo's being played too loud.
Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah. That how do we, and that's a strong monitoring of something like that, because if you do that, you may be taking away someone's ability to work. And it's a very touchy issue. I don't know how I'd vote if I'm sitting at the table, but I will certainly look at that.
Here's an issue that's important to me, that interests me, and maybe not a lot of other people, but since it's my show, I get to ask the question. The city used to play kind of a role in social services and fund different things like for homeless people and mentally ill people, and they've pulled back and kind of gotten out of that business. What do you think a city should play a role in social services, or leave it up to the state?
Well, a lot of it's county.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, my first foray into mental health, community mental health, obviously the coastal behavioral had many funding sources.
That's right.
The federal, state, and county, but most mental health issues and funding and purview is the county. And I think that to take over to the city, you're right. Because when I sit on different advisory boards, people will say, well, that's a county issue. When you deal with the Salvation Army, you deal with this. And I think at this point, that's fine. I'm not so sure. I would have to look into that, but I'm not so sure that would possibly be a good thing. We need to really be careful what the city has purview over and what the county. I'm a firm believer in consolidation of services, non-essential services, that is, but I would be careful with that one, since that's my field.
I'm sorry to ask you this with not much time left, but just your general feeling on baseball and where we stand with baseball.
I think it's a shame, in a way, that we probably will lose our tradition. It's tough because baseball teams, let's be frank, pit one community against another.
Right.
However, I was seduced, as many people were, when the Red Sox came to town. It was interesting how the players, not on the field, but the players in our city, the county commissioners, the city commissioners, it was fascinating to see the dynamics of what happened between the Red Sox, then the Orioles. The dynamics changed.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think we're all in some fashion want baseball on some level to stay. It doesn't look like it's going to, and hopefully we'll do some youth sports at Ed Smith and all that. We've lost our tradition, and I think that's too bad. But you know what? It's all about negotiation. And I think with the Red Sox, whatever you want to say about it, we need to, as elected officials, along with the team owners and whomever we speak to, it's about negotiation. It's about being smart.
Suzanne, thanks for coming on. You're a great guest, and I don't live in the city, and we don't endorse, but I would say if I did live in the city, I would vote for you. Okay, there you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You may lose votes for that, I don't know, but hopefully not. Okay, time for our Weasel of the Week. We got to be quick. Our Weasel of the Week, of course, Lieutenant Governor Jeff Kottkamp. I have zero tolerance for elected officials who take advantage of their positions and use taxpayer money for personal gain. This guy used state flights to take planes to football games. His wife took flights. I have zero tolerance for that. This is the Bulkwell situation. We've seen this over and over again. We've seen this with State Party Chairman Jim Greer. I'm against it. It's wrong, and it makes you a weasel, and it's probably going to end Mr. Kottkamp's political career. So Jeff Kottkamp, the Lieutenant Governor, is our Weasel of the Week, and we'll see you next week.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah! For those of you...
Washington, inviting you